It is a huge, huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Hamish Khayat, who is the founder of Burst Oral Care. He moved from Britain 2 years ago to launch Burst with the ambition of providing the highest quality oral care products for everyone across America. Hey, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and good morning, Howard.
Good morning to you. You're in.
Thanks for having me on.
So you were born and raised in London, then just moved to LA 2 years ago and started this company, Burst Oral Care?
Yeah, so I was in England. I had a first dental company, which I set up when I was 19. My mother actually thought I'd gone completely mad. As I was studying geography at university, I wanted to go into some form of banking. And then I realized that I couldn't grow out my hair into this ridiculous ponytail if I went that route, and I should, look into setting up a company. I set up this company called the Rockabilly Kids in the UK, became absolutely obsessed with oral care, understanding manufacturing, the community in Britain, and then thought I had to go into the adult sphere. And what better place to do it than America? Our spirits aren't exactly famed for their teeth, thanks to Austin Powers, and Americans love things being delivered, so it was a match made in heaven.
So is there any truth to that? The teeth jokes about England. I mean, whenever it's South Park or Family Guy, the guy from England always has god awful teeth. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a bit harsh. I did read quite a lot around it at one point, because I just eventually was like, is it really that true? The data suggests it's not, as in, like, the English people, they do look after their teeth. I'm not sure about their breath. They love garlic, etc. But the teeth themselves aren't that bad. But I think there's something about, Americans having perfect teeth that they just mock the English. You've got to get one over on us.
Well, it's kind of really different when you go around the world. Your dad's from Lebanon, right?
He is indeed, yeah.
And the I think the Hollywood smile is even upped in the Middle East. I mean, when you go to Dubai and Lebanon, I think the Middle East, I mean, if Americans are striving for white teeth, what would you call the Middle East obsession with? I mean, they go for whiter than white.
Actually, you can see it in the adverts that people like Colgate, Oral-B, they do these adverts out there, which are so entertaining because they're just sort of perfect gleaming teeth. It's the Hollywood smile, but like the Hollywood smile from the 70s. They're really pushing it.
Yeah, I would say the Middle East wants the whitest teeth, and I'd put Hollywood at number 2. I really would. I don't know, but yeah, in Europe, in Europe they kind of, I've always heard a lot when lecturing that, and they think they're too white. So are you only doing electric toothbrushes?
Currently, we're only doing electric toothbrushes. We also do a toothpaste and whitening strips. And now you mentioned the whitening. You have to give the people what they'd like. And then we're moving into other products as I sort of finish them. And so, hopefully we'll have a whole suite, but it won't be manual toothbrushes.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
So how did you go from geography to banking to dental to electric toothbrushes? And tell us about your journey. And by the way, this is not an advertisement. No one pays to come on this show. I called you to come on the show. You didn't call me. But I just think you have a really neat company. Your website's burstoralcare.com. But tell us about your journey. How did you end up in dentistry?
How have you used Operationalizing?
I have not.
We'll have to get you one. Well, we'll have to get you one after this so you can experience it. But to give you a bit of my journey, I was 19 at the time at University of Bristol. It's permanently cold and raining. And then ended up kind of getting into this sort of mindset that I didn't want to do the traditional route. And that was where I was headed, which was towards this job in the city, and that I should look to do something else. I got very irritated one day with my toothbrush constantly falling down, and thought, wouldn't it be fun if we could make a toothbrush that, kept standing up? So I added a weight to the bottom. I was drinking, I had a couple of beers and thought, this is a great idea. Anyway, ended up creating this design for this product that would always stand back up, and it wobbled and then it would go back to the top. And thought, wouldn't this be fun to get it made? Set myself a bit of a challenge. And then 7 months later, found myself in Asia and sort of in the factories trying to work out how you could actually physically do this. So I was 19 at that point, just got on a flight out to Shenzhen, China, went for a load of factory visits. I have to say that was an experience of a lifetime, and I didn't realize quite what I was biting off at the time. But chewed through it, came back home, was originally going to sell online as I was learning the space. And then I ended up selling it into retail. So if anyone's been to the UK, we got stores like Boots, which is actually owned by Walgreens, Superdrug there, some supermarkets. And it was, I got to say, every meeting was an amazing learning journey for me. You know, anything from how do you get a buyer to want to buy your product? We email them 5,000 times and ring them until they just eventually give in. But the more I played in that sphere, the more I got to know the industry. I did the dental shows. I met everyone from the British Dental Health Foundation. And I just, every year, I have to be honest, I kept saying, I'm probably going to, or dentistry, I didn't study it. I can color in, as people like to mock my geography. Why did I stick with it? And I got to be honest, I just started to like the people, love making product, love listening to people. And pretty soon I kind of saw that gap in the market where electric toothbrushes were very expensive. And I didn't think they had to be, because by that point I wasn't bad at manufacturing. I'd spend months at a time out of the factories, visiting them, understanding how things work. So it was kind of a self-learning journey. And hence why I ended up being like, right, I should probably, fulfill my dream now that I've got this knowledge base and go and make an electric toothbrush. And my real ambition is to make, electric toothbrushing in the best oral care possible in all spheres, affordable to everyone. And that's the big goal.
How did you like Shenzhen?
You know what? Some of the stories, I can send you some. I wrote this blog afterwards about it. But some of the experiences there, from no one spoke a word of English, which to an extent, I got to say, kind of helped me. I didn't bring a translator. I wasn't threatening. I was very, very young. And I got on really quite well with them all. But there wasn't a lot of English. There was a lot of smiling. There was a lot of, I had to learn, a new culture, what to eat, how to eat it. When a fish head is brought out at the end and I'm told it's the dish of honor to eat it with a straw. What someone should have told me was, and I will eat anything, but what someone should have told me was actually, if you finish it, you're going to get another one. That was one bit I did miss. So I've learned my ways there, but they're great people. I love working with them. And I really do believe if you're polite to everyone. And as I said, I didn't go out in a threatening way. I was too young to be threatening. I think helped my cause. And now I've got great relationships all over Asia in particular with people I've known for years.
I just absolutely love China. I mean, I love it so much. My gosh, I've been there, and gosh, they're just the greatest people. They love to work. They're always laughing. They're always giggling.
Always laughing.
Yeah, they're just the nicest people, and it's so sad how politics tries to ruin the relationship between all these great countries, because the people are just amazing. Gosh, did you ever meet Godfrey down there from Modern Dental?
No, I didn't actually. Where's he based?
Shenzhen.
Okay.
He owns Modern Dental. I believe it's the largest dental laboratory in the world. I think he has 4,000 employees. It'd be a close between Modern Dental and Glidewell. But man, just what a gentleman, and just love that guy. So the electric toothbrush market. So there's 8 billion people on the planet. I would assume probably only 20 countries use electric.
I'd say that. I mean, there'll be a few more in there, but they won't be using it to the scale that, say, America or the UK is. I mean, if I looked at it and said, I think Americans is probably, it ranges, there's lots of stats, but probably around 20% of the population use them. But I'd say a lot of that population is actually using the Oral-B Pulse or disposable electric, which I know a lot of the dental community won't. They don't think is quite as good as, say, a Philips Sonicare or an Oral-B Genius, etc. But that would be roughly the stats. And then in the UK, we're probably 25%, not much more. And again, a big market for them is the Oral-B sort of Pulse or the disposable electric toothbrush. So it's not huge. It should be a lot bigger, given that nearly every dentist and hygienist recommends an electric.
So who are the top competitors in the electric toothbrush space? You said Oral-B, is that number one?
I'd say it depends on the country.
Let's just focus U.S.
Oral-B, it goes Philips and then Oral-B, I'm pretty sure, in this country, but I could be getting that the wrong way around. It depends who's advertising all that year.
Yeah. And what are their price points for the Philips and the Oral-B?
For their best products, they can range from anything from sort of $300 down to, down to $70. In the UK, it's where I originally saw the problem. It was sort of the Oral-B, the Philips or Diamond Clean right now, when I just came back from the UK, is at £300, which is around $420 for the starter. And then heads is what really hurts, actually, for me. For a lot of people I spoke with, the replacement heads in the UK currently, in the US now, it's like $56 for a pack of 3. You can buy them in bulk, of course. You go to Costco, you can start to get the pricing down. but they're generally quite expensive items. And the problem I saw was, if you're a family of 5 and you come in and your dental hygienist says, hey, how about you buy, everyone in the family needs an electric toothbrush. Well, suddenly you could be out of pocket over $1,000 before you know what's happened. And then you've got this recurring charge of, I need to buy more heads to make this work as well as it should. So a lot of families find that hard. Of course, there are lower priced items. You can get the less good ones. What we're trying to do at Burst is give you the absolute best at a price that's affordable. So, you can buy some Oral-B's for $50, $60, or Costco, two of them in a pack for $70. But I'm kind of trying to set the standard at the highest possible and just keep pricing as low as I can.
And so yours is called Burst Oral Care?
Yep, the Burst toothbrush.
And what is your price point?
So if you on our website, we're $69.99, but if you go through one of our ambassadors, which we can go into in a second, they're $39.99, and we deliver everything for free. And then
Did you say $39.99?
$39.99.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very low. I'm trying to keep it. I want everyone in the States to be using an electric toothbrush, and however I can achieve that, maybe there are going to be some people that's still too expensive for, but I physically can't get it any lower.
Well, if you watch, are you a fan of Shark Tank?
I do like Shark Tank. We had something called the Dragon's Den in the UK, which they tried to put me on a few times.
My favorite one, of course, is the bald one, Mr. Wonderful from Canada. And I just love him. I mean, he's just so brutal. But he hates retail. Him and Mark Cuban like online. Are you trying to also do kind of like a Mary Kay cosmetic through referral programs through hygienists? Or talk about your thoughts on pretend you're on Shark Tank now, and Mr. Wonderful said, what's your strategy? Is it going to be retail, online, or some Mary Kay Cosmetics ambassador program? What's your distribution strategy?
I'd say it's a little bit of a hybrid. Like, I always really appreciated the Mary Kay strategies. You're getting something from someone you trust. You get to speak with them. You get a knowledge that you wouldn't get necessarily walking into a retail shop or even buying something online, unless you obviously looked up a huge amount of reviews. However, I think those companies are fantastic and they give people a lot of employment. My only issue with them was that a lot of those people buy inventory and then can't sell the inventory. So if I was to look at it as a slightly hybrid model, I never wanted, for example, to go to any person in dentistry and say, hey, how about you buy 20 toothbrushes from me at this price? You can sell them. And then that person turns out they're not a good salesperson, or they don't like it. And then they're left in their garage with a huge amount of equipment that, traditionally those companies wouldn't buy back. So the aim when I thought of growing this business was, what better place than people to get advice than a dental professional, a hygienist, a dentist, an assistant. These people really, understand how to clean your teeth better than I'm ever going to. A lot of these people have clean teeth for longer than I've been born. So what do I really know? And so by going to this community and saying, hey guys, what do you think of this brush? I don't want you to buy it from me. I don't even allow them to. I say, you're not allowed to buy product from me because I don't want you to be in this position where you can't sell it. That's not good for you. And it's not good for anyone because no customer's getting the product in the end. And so instead they come on and they can try our brush. And if they like our brush and they really have to believe in it, they have to leave us a review saying, I think this is a really good option for my patients. Then they can recommend it to their patients and their patient gets a discount. Because I want people to be going back to their hygienist, listening to their advice, returning every 3-6 months, however long it is, for a checkup. And so the hygienist gets access to a very good price, which is the $39 price point, which is a lot, it's 42% cheaper than our $69.99. And then to reward those people, that want to come on, we do pay out a commission for that, which we think is fair, given that they are the ones doing the recommendations. So we're keeping it in the industry.
So the hygienist would just refer you to buy this electric toothbrush online at Burst Oral Care?
100%. So you're not selling the product on the spot. You're just referring them to our website where that person can, again, do more research if they'd like. And then on that website, they get to use the discount code associated with the hygienist or the dentist or the Burst ambassador. And then they check out just like online. So we're still, like Mark Cuban would like, we cut out that middleman of, Walgreens, Target, et cetera, taking their 35-40%. We're not paying distributors, et cetera, en route. It sits in our warehouse, someone orders it, we deliver it. So the price we can get is this incredibly low price, which people really haven't seen in that industry.
Now, in the United States, are you in any retail locations now?
We're not.
Well, You're not in any of those locations now, just in the UK?
So I know we're not in any retail.
Yeah, you're not so the hybrid. So then, what's really the hybrid? You're not in retail. You're online, and then you have brand ambassadors in dental offices. On your website, there's a hygienist, Shelly Kaiser, RDH, and she says she's earned over $4,581 in commission in her first year.
Yeah, Shelley's incredible.
That's
She's a
what
great
city
woman.
she's in. What city she in?
Actually, I need to look that up where Shelley's in. Shelley was actually at a party yesterday for we launched this new product yesterday for Rose Gold. And Shelley's, everyone's around the States. So Shelley's she's doing well, made 5,000 last year. Some people made 60, 70,000 recommending our products. So it depends how fast you want to go. Some people in a metropolis area in a city are obviously going to see a lot more patients. Some people are better online and recommending to their friends and family. So we kind of, it's a whole range. A hygienist seeing 5 patients a day for 4 days a week is obviously going to see a lot of people. And if they really believe in the product, then their patients buy it at that price point.
And you're in Venice, California? That's where Burst is?
Where I'm based. As you can see, I actually work from my room. I'm determined to keep this whole, my room, my house. I'm determined to keep this very decentralized model of business. So people are everywhere, from, Melissa down in Oklahoma to my customer service team in Ireland, where we keep everyone spread. And we communicate just like me and you are doing now over Skype.
Yeah. Microsoft bought Skype, and they bought LinkedIn. And I wonder if very soon, I wonder if LinkedIn will work like FaceTime, where if you and I are connected on LinkedIn, I wonder if it'll be very soon and there'll be like a phone icon and I can just tap that and like FaceTiming you like you're on iPhone.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'd assume that's coming soon. I keep doing it on Facebook. I'm chatting away with someone, just, instant messenger. And they're like, you know what, this is boring, texting, typing. And they just hit the phone button. Suddenly a thing blows up. The world is very different, but communication is easier than ever.
Yeah, but if you do it on FaceTime, I just read yesterday, is the least trusted social media brand on the internet.
FaceTime or
or Facebook. Facebook.
Oh, Facebook is. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can really believe that one. Recently,
I'm sure if you FaceTime somebody on Facebook, if you did a video conference call, I'm sure that call would be recorded and stored and archived for all eternity.
And then you'll be sold various products based on what you said.
Yeah, it's strange times. I actually don't think people. I think people talk about concern for privacy, but you never listen to what humans say. You always watch their actions, because they talk about privacy, but then they upload all their private information, birthdays, addresses, websites. You know what I mean? So I really don't believe that they want privacy, because they show no actions towards wanting.
I would completely agree with you, actually. I find that I got into a conversation with someone the other day regarding cameras. In the UK, we're big on CCTV cameras. Everywhere, every corner you will be filmed. But, my kind of opinion is, if someone's watching me and I'm not doing anything wrong, what do I really care? Whereas some people out here are like, but it's still my privacy. But then you're right. At the same time, they've uploaded, the pictures of their weekend, and they haven't put their privacy settings on Facebook. Well, it's Facebook's property now. You uploaded it. You wanted to share it. You wanted to use their platform. It doesn't bother me, but I don't understand some people why they get up so in arms about it. Personally.
When I was little, when I was 10 years old, for $2, I could go to the store and buy milk, bread, cheese, butter. I could buy everything for $2, but now I can't do that because they have all those security cameras all around. And so first things first, do you think your toothbrush is efficient as plaque removal as the big boys, Philips and Oral-B?
Well, I can't say that one publicly now. I leave it up to the hygienist and the dentist to try our brush. So this year alone, we've signed up over 8,500 that have made the switch to Burst over a Philips or an Oral-B that they used before. Currently, we're finishing a study with UCLA Dental School. So, the hygienists used our products. They'd bring their patient in, and then 3 months later, they'd give our brush over an Oral-B, etc. And all the evidence suggested that we could give it a pretty good shot, and most likely we were better. But I have to wait till that study comes out, and that will come out before the end of the year.
So on Dental Town, every dentist, say you're a dentist and you go out there and you're lecturing all around on some topic, or you own a company, you're allowed one thread where you can start one thread self-promotional. And we ought to start this and call it, and also you can also go on there and if you're shy and just say, Howard told me to do it. But you should say, Howard, I did a podcast with Howard today, and he told me to come on and tell you what to do. Because one of the things I'm interested in is I'm always interested in the lower cost provider. I mean, I think what Henry Ford said, if you make an expensive car, it's for the classes, but he wanted to make a car for the masses. And Southwest Airlines, gave every American the freedom to fly by squeezing out all the costs. And now they're the number one leader. 27% of all seat miles flown last year in the United States were Southwest Airlines. I love the way that you're have cost leadership. But hygienists, I'm sure they love the commission. So talk about the ambassador program. How does a hygienist or a dentist make money on this? And one thing I also want to say is that, I've been a keynote speaker in probably 50 countries, and so many of these countries that have socialized or nationalized healthcare, like a lot of the insurance schemes are insane. Like even the three greatest civilization societies I've seen is London, Paris, and Tokyo. And all three of those countries, under their nationalized healthcare system, only reimburses $100 US for a molar root canal. So what do you see in those countries? And I taped a lot of podcasts from those countries. They don't do molar endo. They pull the tooth and place an implant because the implant is not on the fee schedule, and they'll charge $1,500 for the implant and another $1,500 for the crown. So when you're in Tokyo, where land can be $1 million a square meter, and your government says you only get $100 for molar endo, well, there's no molar endo. So that's why when I go around the world, the two biggest brands are Invisalign and then implants. And the reason implants, and so I'll go to say I'm in Cambodia or Indonesia or Thailand or something where the insurance, basically you're just doing cleaning exams, x-rays, and fillings for peanuts. You can't even break even. But those dentists will tell me, yeah, but if I get one Invisalign case a week and or one implant case a week, I'm a baller. I mean, I'm rolling in the dough. I'm in the top 5% income in my country. And so same thing with hygiene. So many of these hygiene departments, like you take Phoenix, Arizona. The hygienists get $40 an hour, and the insurance companies will pay me $55 for a cleaning. Well, if you have 2/3 overhead, I mean, simple math tells you that's not going to work. But I can see, dental offices should be doing Invisalign, and I don't know why a dental office wouldn't do Invisalign. Hell, Invisalign is opening up stores right now to do Invisalign that don't even have doctors or hygienists or dentists in them.
I saw that actually.
I mean,
it's a bit
my
like
God,
that Smile Direct Club that's gone quite viral on TV.
Yeah, I mean, Smiles Direct Club, and they're doing an IPO, and it's going to be a gold mine because people, when you look at the human body, there's the brain, the heart, and then below the belt, the genitalia, and the profit margin follows perfectly. If it's an accounting issue, a brain reason to buy, it's going to be about a 5% profit margin. But if it's matters of the heart, like choosy mothers choose Jeff, if they can get you to use your heart, it's going to be about a 15% profit margin. But man, when it drops below the belt to genitalia, it is, really, Mercedes-Benz, the big 4-wheel drive trucks, an iPhone, straight teeth, whiter teeth. So I think Invisalign and Smiles Direct Club are going to just have.
It does, we'll go back to sex in the end.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the number one drive of a species. Well, the number one drive of a species is just to simply survive long enough to reproduce and spiral your DNA further. And that's why people buy $5,000 Gucci purses instead of some purse at Kohl's. That's why men buy a Mercedes-Benz instead of a Chevy. It's why It's why young kids that are rich and upcoming want an iPhone and not an Android. I mean, it's just sex, sex, and more sex. So Invisalign is going to be huge. Implantology, it's hard to go into a bar and attract a mate when you're missing a tooth and you're on a Samsung. I mean, you want to go in there.
Actually,
with,
do you know what? That was the kick in the tail. That was the kicker. On the Samsung. I mean, no tooth, Samsung, and maybe some 60s jeans with a flare. And it's a modern bar.
So I tell dentists, get into Invisalign, get into implantology, but in a hygiene department, tell us about how this ambassador program works. How could a hygienist boost their income?
Howard, out of curiosity, do you encourage dental practices to have more and more hygienists just because of it bringing people in that then, the hygienist looks at you and says, you know what, you could do with some Invisalign. You should speak with Doc next door. Is that something that you concentrate on?
Well, I've always had a passion and a moral quandary first. I wanted a dental office that I could send my kids and my grandkids to. And right now, when I'm 56, I got 4 kids, I got 6 grandkids. I want to be able to make the transition. Ray Kroc died, McDonald's went on. Sam Walton died, Walmart went on. I want to be able to die and my grandkids can go to Today's Dental and do it right. I don't like these non-dentists owning dental offices and saying things like, well, 15% of your patients should need perio chips and 1/3 should need root plane keratosis. That'd be like going to a physician and some MBA says, well, 1/3 of your patients should have chlamydia. It's like, I thought only a patient that has chlamydia has. I didn't know 1/3 of patients have chlamydia. I mean, that's just stupid. And so if I was just solely after the money, I would have set up emergency dental care, because when you go into my dental office, the cleanings, exams, x-rays, and fillings, very low margin. And so when I looked at the money, an emergency comes in, they broke a tooth, they need a $1,000 crown. They have a toothache, they need a $3,000 root canal buildup and crown. So I always have been seduced to just want to set up emergency dental and just go off of the high volume, high margin stuff. But I feel it's unethical, because I would rather, I want my kids going into a dental office where they're preventing cavities, where they're preventing all this stuff. So the dentist in me, when I came to Phoenix, Arizona, for the first 2 years, I spent every Friday just trying to fluoridate the water of Phoenix. I thought it was absurd for me to drill, fill, and bill Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 5 days a week from age 25 to 65. And when we fluoridated Phoenix, the Centers for Disease Control sent me a letter, and they said, based on their epidemiology model, they thought my efforts to fluoridate Phoenix, Arizona would prevent like 890,000 cavities a year. The Arizona State Dental Association gave me the Arizona Award. So I want
actually good for you, Howard.
I want a big, robust preventative disease. I mean, I don't. If I was in pulmonary, I wouldn't want to come up with a better, faster way to treat lung cancer. I would want to prevent lung cancer. Get these guys out of coal mines, try to get them to quit smoking. So yeah, I think the only people who are passionate about dentistry want to prevent disease. So yeah, I want a big hygiene department, and I want my grandkids going in there regularly, preventing decay. And the worst statistic in dentistry is the fact that in the United States, by age 64, 10% of Americans are missing all their teeth. And at 74, 20% of Americans are missing all their teeth. But at 74, none of the hygienists or dentists are missing any of their teeth. So, they got the same genetics. I mean, if you lined up all the dentists and hygienists, I mean, they cross all the ethnicities and geographies and classes and cultures. So obviously there's a big, huge behavioral component. Why does 1 in 5 Americans have 0 teeth at 75? And I've never met a hygienist that takes her teeth out and soaks them at night. So that's the dilemma. How do we get 324 million Americans to take care of their teeth and keep them as long as they're dental hygienists?
Out of curiosity, do you think that a toothbrush use or how to brush at home actually makes a difference, in your opinion? You use an electric toothbrush.
Do I think an electric toothbrush is better?
Do you think it is?
That,
Yeah, generally. Would you
yeah.
advocate for a patient?
Well, absolutely. I mean, okay. First of all, I'm 56. You're 27. I mean, brushing your teeth at 56. I mean, how could you compete with the speed? I couldn't even brush my teeth as fast as you at 27. As they start to get 67 and they get arthritis and their hands are sore, and yeah, I mean, to me, decay is extremely multifactorial. I mean, it's going to be who you're swapping spit with. I think that is the biggest component. When you see a 2-year-old that needs 6 root canals and pulpotomies and chrome steel crowns, that means dad's kissing her and he's got 3 bombed out teeth. Mom's kissing her with bombed out decay. Grandma's over there babysitting and she's got an upper denture and a lower flipper and she's got gum disease. And everybody's dropping so much infected spit into this baby's mouth, sharing utensils. You know, they taste their food and blow on it to make sure it's the right temperature. Then they stick it in the baby's mouth.
That's decay by love.
Yeah. And it is a herd disease. I mean, dental decay is a herd disease. There are certain herds have certain diseases. So when I see mama and she starts to have that baby pooch, I just zero in. I say, look, this baby, it's going to be born without any, it won't be born with Streptococcus mutans. It could never get a cavity. It won't have P. gingivalis. Just like it's not going to be born with syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia and AIDS. Those are sexually transmitted diseases, and there's orally transmitted diseases. So I always tell the pregnant mom, look, we need to treat the herd. I need everybody that lives in that house, everybody's going to babysit that baby, every grandma that's going to come over, that they all need to get their mouth all cleaned up so that grandma's not coming over there with a flipper kissing gum disease into an infant's mouth. I mean, it's just crazy how these animals transmit all these diseases. So that's a big factor. Then diet is a huge factor. And so you're in the business of the actual mechanical removal of plaque and sugars and decay. So it's multifactorial. But in answer to your question, yes, I don't know anybody who doesn't think an electric toothbrush can remove plaque better than a manual toothbrush. I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, I don't even think it's a debate.
So yeah, it kind of comes back to the policy of what I was trying to do in my former, like you had your big mission of fluoridating Phoenix's water. My mission is to make sure that people go to the hygienist to speak with them, and then they go back to the hygienist, and then they use a product that's going to, the best care that they can get at home, they can get through our product. And then they'll be back to the hygienist to learn more, to understand how to use that product and get the most out of it. So in the end, my dream, as you put it, is preventative care. Get a product into people's hands at a low price and make sure they go back to the hygienist. Because as you say, it would be nice, those emergency numbers or to straighten people's teeth, etc., on these big bills you get. But actually, it's not very long term in terms of what I'm trying to achieve in that instance.
And how does the brand ambassador program work with the hygienist or the dentist?
So they can. So our rule is everyone has to try our product. I don't want anyone ever coming on board and thinking, hey, I can just make a quick bulb, it's a quick buck in the US. It's not about making money. A lot of our hygienists actually don't hold on to it. They give it away. They raffle it out, etc. They love the price point. But in the end, they come on, they try our brush, and they try it for $20 for our black and white toothbrush. We ship them a toothbrush, and they sign up through our app. So everything goes through an app on your phone. You sign up on the app, you order a test toothbrush, we send you a starter kit, you try it out, and then after you've used it, some of our hygienists use it for 6 weeks, some use it for 10 days, they know it's better, but they then leave us a review, and I'd say around 98, 99% of them are positive. I watch come through, and they're like, do you know what, this is a great product at an amazing price point, and I'd love to be able to recommend it to my patients. And so with that, once they've written us that review, we check it over, and then we approve the review. And when you approve the review, your app will become live, and you will get access to your own discount code associated with you as that particular hygienist or that dental office or that dentist. At that point, you can share your code with your family, friends, patients, etc., anyone else on social media, and they can get access to your discounted price. The app also will send a link to that patient on the spot via text message if you'd like that to be the case. And then the patient, as I say, gets sent the link, they sign up online, and then we ship them a toothbrush. But when we ship them the toothbrush, we know which code has been used, and therefore which hygienist, dentist, first professional that we should be paying commission to. And then every Friday we pay out that commission.
And how do you pay it out? Is that paid out PayPal or direct deposit, or how's that paid out?
It's direct deposit. When you sign up, you'll sign up with your bank account, and then all you have to do is connect to confirm your bank account details on your account, your birth professional's account. And then at that point, however much money you've earned that week, we will pay out to you. We also pay commission. So the way we look at it is you brought us your patient, you brought your patient to birth. That is your patient within birth. So we pay out a commission on the first product sold. Also then after that, it's, okay, we deliver a new head. You'll get commission on that. That patient decides to buy our whitening strips or our toothpaste or other products that we're finishing now. At that point, we pay that commission because that person is associated, that patient is associated with that dental professional, that hygienist, and then we'll pay that hygienist. So some people who've built up, say they've got 1,000 people onto our platform. Well, every 3 months when we send a new head, they're making $1,000 just in the commission from the heads. And then on top of that, a lot of those people have bought whitening strips and other products. And so you just over time will build up a consistent income, not just off the starter kit, which is $10.
And what percent of your business is U.S.?
We're probably 90% US, 10% Canada. And then I'm hoping to go back to the UK and go back to my neck of the woods.
Well, that's interesting. You said 90% U.S. and 10% Canada because the United States is 324 million people and Canada's in the 30 millions. So that's California and Canada are very interesting. The California and Canada, same size, same number of people, same number of dentists, same number of hygienists. They're just like it's funny on the United States northern border. If you raise that border 100 miles. You'd engulf 90% of all the Canadians. So they just live.
Actually?
Yeah, they just live
Actually,
right on.
that's a great stat.
Yeah, it's a
right on the border.
Very interesting. And Canada's very diverse. I mean, you can't compare Vancouver to Montreal. It's a very diverse area. And anyway, so how's business going? Do you share any data, like how many users you have in the U.S. and Canada? How many are on this ambassador program? Do you share data like that?
So on the amount of ambassadors, we've signed up around we're at 8,500 this year. Who've come on board.
8,500.
So, yeah, 8,500 come on this year. Tried our toothbrush. Think our brush is better than the competitors' brushes, so they've switched over and now they use our products and recommend those products.
And how many hygienists do you think are in America?
Is it around 200,000? The last stat I saw.
200,000? And how many dentists would you say?
I think it was around 150,000.
There's 150,000 full-time general dentists, 32 hours a week or more, and 30,000 specialists, 32 hours a week or more. But there's actually 211,000 Americans who have an active license to do dentistry. And my stats show that there's actually 275,000 Americans who have a active license to do hygiene. So that's a huge market. There's so much growth potential in the United States for you that you would never even have to think of another country. You could spend the next 10 years just trying to focus on the United States. So what do you
Howard, you got me at a good time, actually. I put it into perspective. We're over 100,000 people have bought and still subscribed to Burst. But this morning, which you can see on video, I don't think anyone else will be, we actually just made this live to our ambassadors. It's our newest rose gold toothbrush. So it's, as you say, it's thinking with your genitals for some people, but they just love the look of it. And we launched that today to our hygienists so that they can, basically our ambassadors get everything first and they get the benefits. And so this morning for $40, they're able to sign up and get our rose gold toothbrush, which comes with a travel case, and it comes in a very neat, nifty box. As you can see here, it's quite flashy compared to the other ones. And so, yeah, actually that's this morning. We'll see how excited they get. But that's actually a point for you. This was the idea of one of our ambassadors. So, I'm 27 years old, and what on earth do I know about how to brush someone's teeth or look after someone's mouth? I didn't study dentistry, but how would I compare to someone that's cleaned teeth for 45 years, like some of our ambassadors have, some hygienists that are on our team? I just sit and listen So all product development, like this toothbrush itself, like the whitening strips, which, for example, they wanted to add some coconut to improve the flavor and reduce sensitivity, or the toothpaste and what the formula is like, I get to develop it with them. So we have a group on Facebook where I just go live and I ask them, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of these bristles? So we've got these interdental cut bristles. I tried like 15 different bristles before we settled on these. And it was because the hygienists and the dentists were asking for it. They said, I'd like to do this. I'd like you to try this and see what happens. And I can go and do that within a couple of months. As I say, I'm good at manufacturing, but what would I really know about brushing teeth, like someone like even yourself? You know, you're not practicing anymore, are you, as a dentist?
Yeah, I'm still practicing. What year were you born?
91.
91? Yeah, my dental office opened in 1987. September 21, 1987. You're right. You're selling to hygienists and dentists who have been doing this longer than you've been alive.
You know, for me, it's a complete honor. I get to, as I say, sit there and I just need to listen. So I ask a question, I get told what to do. I'm not saying the other bigger companies, they don't listen to the dental community. They do, but they probably can't move as fast as I can move. Because, as I say, I decide I like something. I don't have these huge marketing budgets or lots of people to answer to. I don't. The Philips Diamond Clean, for example, they've changed the color a couple of times, but really it's a very similar product to what came out 5-6 years ago. Because once you can't blame them once you start marketing and you see these billboards, you see these TV ads, to then pull that off the shelf just because some people told you that we needed to improve it. You've spent all that money building this brand equity in that product. You can't now just remove it and replace it with something else. And so it's sitting online. I have a warehouse full of stock. If the hygienist say, do you know what, Hamish, I do not like your formula of toothpaste. Okay, I'm going to change that. Well, actually, I would never have let it get that far. But I can make those changes fast, and I can listen to people whose opinion really matters and is making the difference and is understanding, exploring. So I'm developing like 4 more products, 5 more products right now, just listening. I do the manufacturing side. They do all the education to me, and then they get to educate their patients on it. So that's all I am. I'm a middleman, really. Getting to listen to people with way more experience than myself. And that to me is what's making our products better than our competitors. And, it's been the fun of it. And as I say, this rose gold one, somebody in our group just said, hey, how about rose gold? And then the thread just went wild. And I was like, I got to do what the people want me to do. And so that was around 9 months ago now. We waited till Christmas to pull this one out. And we hope it's going to be a big success.
Well, a real businessman is a conductor. A conductor of an orchestra has his back to the audience, the patients. And why would you learn how to place dental implants in your office when you could have an oral surgeon or a periodontist from the next town over come in and have them place it and split it 50%? A lot of dentists, they graduate with a dental degree and they don't realize that it's just a lawnmower. And then they're just going to push a lawnmower Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 for 40 years. And I thought the most interesting part I loved the dentistry, and I did thousands and thousands of root canals, fillings, crowns, implants, ortho, all that stuff like that. I love that. But I also had a love for the business. And the business, you are a conductor. And so you're just putting together, if I need a drummer, I'm not going to learn to drum. So I'm going to get a drummer. I'm going to get someone who plays the violin and all the instruments. And Howard,
there's always someone better than you at all those parts. That's the bit I love. If one can admit that they're okay, we can do it. But there's always going to be a specialist or someone way better than you. And to be able to turn to those specialists and, as you put it, conduct them is a joy and makes everything better for everyone.
Show the bristles. Are they rotating? Do they go back and forth? They vibrate? How's the bristles actually work?
It's sonic, but they're incidental. They've got actually a charcoal infused. They're infused with charcoal at around 0.9%, which makes them a lot softer, and it also is microbacterial. But the bit that really made the difference for the hygienist was the incidental cut. So we're very proud of the fact that Burst doesn't have dense bristles. They're not really thick and packed together. They're actually a lot less, so they're softer. And so we get under the gun line in the most incredible manner, and that's what the hygienist community really wanted us to do. So they're incidental cut and they're multi-length. And when you try the brush, you'll realize it's just that unbelievable clean. It polishes the outside of your teeth and it gets between the teeth in a way that a lot of electric toothbrushes don't. But it is sonic powered. It's not an oscillating brush.
In my lifetime, I've never gone over to anyone's house who wasn't a dentist or a hygienist and use their restroom, the toothbrush bristles are flat. Looks like somebody parked a car on them. I mean, Americans do not understand that bristle needs to be straight and that you need to swap them out. You need to change them.
Yeah, they're hooked. They're like bent. It's like,
Oh man, I mean, I've just never seen it. Yesterday, Sunday, went over to this friend's house and watched football all day, and went to the bathroom, and I mean, it's just a joke. I think the market does not understand that. Second thing is when you're trying to brush your teeth, and everybody's saying you should brush your teeth for 2 minutes. When you watch someone brush their teeth, they never go 30 seconds. But I think the key to getting them to brush 2 minutes is taking it into the shower. Because you're standing there.
Howard, I'm so with you. I'm a shower brusher myself. You're not in a rush. You're relaxing. You're under the water. You're going for it. I've actually got in February. I launched an update of our product to take into account shower people like myself.
Well, I think that's.
I'll send you one when we're done.
I think that's got to be the big marketing deal. That take this to the shower. While you're standing underneath that hot water and you're trying to wake up, it's easy to knock out 2 minutes of brushing your teeth when you're just when you don't have to sit there and work your arm real fast and it's doing all the work and you're just slowly waking up and you're under the hot water.
Howard, our brush it does have a 2-minute timer, and every 30 seconds it will pulse at you to tell you to move. So we've had some people that do continue to brush by the sink. People that never used an electric toothbrush before be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize we had to brush for 2 minutes, and that's what actually it feels like to brush for that long. And then as you put it, like getting people in the shower, like not everyone loves to do it, but some of the times they don't have anywhere to hold it in the shower. That's the exciting thing we're bringing out.
Now, have you ever thought about a water pick like product, a water flosser? Because again,
considered
what's
it.
that?
Yeah, but it's nothing in the works now.
Because the only thing, again, I notice that I love with my boys is that nobody likes a water pick because it makes this huge ugly mess in the bathroom. You go water all the mirror. But they had back in the day, they had the shower floss where you unscrew your shower floss head, and you put in this piece and screw it back, and then you just had a tube hanging. And then you had the little end pieces, and so you're in the shower, and then you can take that and blast out. And I saw, that the whole key is the behavior of the Homo sapien, and the Homo sapien, he needs to move all of this into the shower. I mean, they're already in there. It's all wet. It's a design box to make a mess. It's just everything.
Howard, that was the success of Waterpik's, handheld one versus that big one that sits on the counter. It's just about making sure that handheld one is equally powerful enough to do the job, which is obviously a challenge when you're not plugging it into the wall socket. You've got it on your counter. You're holding the battery. But yeah, I'm with you. Take everything into the shower, load it up, and get it done in the morning. And it's just, as you put, no mess.
And then this is Dentistry Uncensored. So let's talk about. I want to go next to toothpaste and whitening. The biggest Dentistry Uncensored point on whitening is that you actually don't need a light to whiten teeth. I mean, there's all these companies sell in-office whitening and with a light, but they can't really show the research whitening. And then on toothpaste. Some of the biggest researchers in the world on plaque removal are dry paste. They say the only thing in the toothpaste would be the fluoride, the calcium to remineralize teeth. But as far as needing the toothpaste as an abrasive to remove the plaque, I mean, the research isn't there. I mean, dry brushing for 2 minutes removes as much plaque with or without toothpaste. So the only thing in a toothpaste would be a remineralizing. So I just dumped two deals of you.
Or the hydrogen peroxide, which you could add. By the way, I'm with you on that one. Weirdly, I was having a conversation, not that weirdly, I talk dentistry all the time, but I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about this company, High Smile. They do like the lights in your mouth. And I remember saying, they said, oh, would you consider doing one? And I kept thinking, actually, my hygienist community, they wouldn't agree with it because there is, as you say, no evidence to suggest that a light actually whitens your teeth. The peroxide does. If you ever put peroxide on a bleach, obviously in a very small quantity, and that will. So our whitening strips do have hydrogen peroxide in it. They're 6%. I didn't want to go too high, whereby you put on this huge hydrogen peroxide amount, give people sensitive teeth, and then as some companies do, you then sell them sensitive strips to make the sensitivity go away, which are equally expensive. So we went for a 6%, added coconut to reduce sensitivity, which was a suggestion from some of our hygienists. And that one, it really does do the job. We've got some amazing reviews on it. And again, keeping the price low. Like, we're not here to just make you buy an inexpensive toothbrush to charge you loads of money on other products. We're not a printer company that basically gives the printer away and then, charges you a fortune to buy the ink. We're trying to keep things all low. It's sort of total oral care, which maintains its level of affordability throughout your time with us, which we hope is for life. And then the toothpaste, again, I agree with you. So many of our hygienists just say, we don't even need a toothpaste. But you're right, Homo sapien behavior. People expect to use one. They like that minty, fresh taste. All these toothpastes, have this, they're all whitening. We do have some hydrogen peroxide in it because that's what a lot of the public wanted. And if you can get people to use fluoride in their mouth, with their toothpaste, and they think they're going to whiten their teeth, which it does work a little bit. It's not as effective. It's extrinsic whitening, not intrinsic whitening, as the whitening strips would be. But it's watching people's behavior. One thing I've found fascinating is since moving from the UK, you can't even have whitening strips. The peroxide's illegal. But yet the same research has concluded that you can go up to 12% in-home whitening in America. It doesn't really add up, if you see what I mean. How can you have two of the same? I don't know if you've looked into it much, but the same study.
I have, and Dan Fisher, the founder of Ultradent, I really love that guy because number one, he was the only major company who came out with an in-office whitening system without a light. So we're not going to have a light because there's no reason to have a light, and he thought it was unethical and immoral. And then number two, he spent $1 million of his own cash fighting the UK deal, and he thought it was basically, I don't know if he said this on the record or off the record, but I'll throw him under a bus. He said basically the problem with the UK, it all came down to one guy. He said in America, you have boards. You can sue, you can appeal. But he said the UK, basically, who's dealing it all funneled down to one guy, and $1 million in several years, he couldn't change one guy's mind. And that's the problem with human history.
Was that guy on the British Dental Health Foundation?
Yeah. And he was, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the key mark of democracy is checks and balances. And you just can't have any government agency come down to one person because then you have that. There just needs to always be checks and balances.
Well, you know what I was a little bit cynical of, Howard? The more I looked at it, the more it was like, the huge moneymaker in the UK right now, actually here as well, but with sort of whitening toothpaste. All the money that went into creating products that would whiten your teeth outside of, say, a whitening strip with all this peroxide or your friends with at Ultradent, which really do actually whiten. But if you could get that, why would you buy all the whitening paste and all this money for the auxiliary products? I am a little bit cynical on the decision to keep out things like whitening strips and in-office whitening.
And the reason to me it's unethical, and I also had a problem with this when a very famous hygienist was fighting one of the toothpaste companies because those little blue sparkles was not dissolving all the way and they were being found on the gums, is that people don't brush their teeth in the morning to reduce plaque and gingivitis. They brush their teeth because they're Homo sapiens who want to reproduce, have offspring, and they want whiter, brighter, sexier teeth.
If you can sell that to them, though, if you want people to whiten their teeth, but they get the other benefits that aren't really at the forefront. It's like saying to the person, like, why did you lose weight? Why do you want to go on a diet? Why do you want to look like Jennifer Aniston? You're not, like you say, you're not doing it because you want to be, live a longer, healthier life at the time. It's not about your heart. It's about your genitals. And so actually, same as with the teeth. But again, you've done a lot of benefits. The person that lost all that weight is actually in a better health position than they were before. So if you can, patients are sitting there saying, if they needed to be told, you're going to get a bit, teeth are going to be whiter, you're going to look better, you're going to look sexier, etc. But we all know, here that it's so much better for your long-term health, for your teeth, for everything that's involving your mouth, which then affects the rest of your body. Then, in my opinion, everyone won. They had sex. They got healthy.
Right. That's business. A win-win. What do I want? I want you to change your behavior to have less disease and live longer and healthier? What do they want? They want to look whiter, brighter. They want to someday grow up and spiral their DNA. So it's the meeting of the minds, and I think dentists need to I can't believe we've gone over an hour, and but I think what dentists and it's so amazing. I mean, 30 years of sitting in a dental office. I mean, if I tell some high school boy that if he doesn't start brushing and flossing his teeth, he's going to start getting cavities. I show him on the x-rays. I don't call them MODs. MOD amalgam doesn't mean anything to a kid. I call them flossing cavities. I show him his bite wing x-rays, how he's starting to get these cavities in between his teeth. He's just staring off into space, wishing he was at home playing Fortnite. But if I sit there and say, dude, if you ever talk to a girl, she's going to smell this 4 lockers away. And if you don't want her to tell every girl at Mountain Point High School that your breath stinks, you're going to need to, and his eyes get the size of a silver dollar. I mean, the minute I start telling this little boy that, I say, if you think you're ever going to talk to a girl, let alone kiss a girl, without flossing your teeth, she's going to do it standing there holding her nose, and she's going to tell everyone you have bad breath. And I've got his complete undivided attention when I start mixing. Yeah. So and same thing with that baby. As soon as that little girl has a baby bump, her whole biology goes into protecting this offspring. I mean, just the whole deal. And once I start telling her, you are not going to drop a baby. And I haven't even seen your husband for 3 years. You are not going to drop this baby and have your husband, who hasn't been in here in 3 years, start kissing it and sharing utensils and all that stuff like that. I need every single person that's going to be in the room with this baby in this office before that baby drops. And I want all their cavities and gum disease fixed, or you're going to be looking at a 2-year-old. I mean, in the United States, at least every 3 or 4 months, there's some huge tragedy over social media where some baby went into a pediatric dentist and was put to sleep to have dentistry done and didn't recover from the anesthesia. And it's happened out here in Arizona twice in the last 3 years, several times. And the media always makes out that the doctor messed up. And the last case in Arizona, the doctor happened to be a board-certified pediatric dentist, and the anesthesiologist happened to be a board-certified anesthesiologist. It wasn't, the matter of the fact is, the media never addresses, well, excuse me, sir, but why did your 2-year-old baby need 8 root canals? Why did a 2-year-old need to be taken to a hospital and be put down? I mean, who is licking this kid? Who's kissing this kid? What barn do you live in that created this whole mess? They never talk that. So we have to talk that. So we have to tell the every woman that shows up with a baby bump, we need to, spin the sirens, get the whole everybody who lives in Charlotte's Web needs to come in that dental office. And then when it comes to hygiene, we really need to get out the message that hygienists do not wear dentures when they're 74 years old, but 20% of Americans do. So you have a 1 in 5 chance of wearing a denture by 74, according to the Centers for Disease Control. And we need to go from manual to electric. We need to go from brushing your teeth for 20 seconds at the sink for doing it 2 minutes in the shower. And then we need to also realize my final comment is this. With humans, you either own your own bowling ball or in a league, or you haven't been bowling in 5 years. You either own your own boat and jet ski and go to the lake every weekend, or you haven't been to the lake in 5 years. And so as soon as humans like the looks of their teeth, they take care of them. And when they don't like their teeth, when they think their teeth are crooked and ugly and yellow, they don't take care of them. So Invisalign and whitening have more to do with oral health than all the microbiology books known to man. And once you can get that little kid to look in the mirror and like his teeth and like the legs, so Invisalign,
to look after them.
Yeah, they only take care of, they only do things that make them feel good. if you bring up, if every experience they had with math was they got an F and had to repeat the class, they hate math their whole life. If every experience, so they only go do things that secrete dopamine, serotonin. They want to feel better. So talk up to them like a coach. Motivate these people. Motivate them that you're going to have that baby bump is going to turn into one day that baby's going to walk in there at age 12 and have never had a cavity in their entire life. Make them feel good. Make them accomplish something. Yesterday at that game I was talking at, this lady that was this other guy came over and his wife came over, and all she could talk about was how her son's in the first grade and he made honor roll the first quarter. And, so the teacher's making that kid feel better, the mom feel better. They're all fired up, so make your patients feel better. Hey, I want to tell you seriously, thanks for coming on the show today. It was a joy. It was a joy to podcast you. And when you're posting on that Facebook, how many followers you got on Facebook?
On Facebook and on Burst Professionals. If you look up Burst Professionals, the Facebook group, we're over just under 8,000. I think we're on something like 35,000 on Instagram, etc. But if anyone's interested, join that group and they get to meet everyone. I have to say this is the most incredible. They're just like friends, all of them. Join and they'll give you advice. They're a community.
But just remember one thing, there's 250,000 dentists and hygienists have downloaded the Dental Town app. So just remember that. And there's just as many hygienists on Dental Town as there are on Hygiene Town. But so when you're posting on the group, remember there's 250,000 dentists on Dental Town. 60,000 have downloaded the app. So show up there and tell these boys and girls what you got. And tell them Howard.
I will do.
All right. You have a rocking good day, buddy.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Good. Bye.